It's time to rock and roll!
Need to update my background after our conversation we just did right now.
If you
There we
want to
go.
bring it.
Yeah, now.
Yeah, that's funny. See, yeah, they
Yeah.
do look photoshopped.
Look, so if you can see on the YouTube version of this video here at the Waffle Press Movie Hangouts with your host, David Crespo. How do I do this? Hang on. Okay, so
Yeah, you got it.
that way.
Yeah.
He's not holding anything. That's supposed to be like his hand on a chair, but they didn't need him to do that for Javier. So yeah, incredible stuff. My co-host Universa. What's up? How's it going?
Hey, it's going good. Good to see you once more. Excited to talk the Mummy and just general Universal monsters too.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
even funnier now that you mention it because this isn't a Universal movie.
Yeah, it's technically, yeah, it's like it's WB, but I guess just kind of I don't know what else to call them besides the Universal monsters. They're just
Yeah, I mean you're totally right.
the
Like it's
monsters.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
doing like a Universal Monsters like thing like they did with the Invisible Man, which I think is still really well liked, and
Yeah,
I really like that movie, and the
I do.
Wolfman, which I think people were just kind of like,
Not so much on.
like you tried, didn't work. I'm not angry about it. Um, we'll talk about whether or not The Mummy works today.
Hmm.
But before we do that, because we're here to talk today about a movie that's dealing with like decades of trauma against children, investigative thrills to uncover the roots of a generational evil. And that's not the Michael Jackson movie we're here to talk about. We're talking with our friend and co-host today as well, Max Deering, beaming in from across the pond in Amsterdam. You're not in Amsterdam, but I don't know if you need to know where he lives. But Max, how are you doing?
Realize I'm still coming across as Michael Scott and I didn't change my goddamn
It's
name.
you're Michael. You're
Yep.
Mike today.
That's all
We got to
right.
get Mike on
Yeah,
at
I'm
some
gonna
point.
I'm gonna channel my fucking grumpiness. Um but sorry, no, he's not grumpy. Good, tired. It's all right. I'm drinking coffee, I'm drinking morning protein shake. I'll hit the gym and I'll shake it all off because that's what heroes who don't get paid do. I'm fine.
Yeah. Well, listen. It's early morning where you are. It's
It's
night
past
here
six.
where
It's
we
not that
are.
bad.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, it's late here, but it's extra late for our very special guest today, James Preston Poole, beaming in from the great state of Texas. James, welcome back to the show. How are you? How are things? And answer this for Gene and I. Is it
Mm.
10 p.m. or 11 p.m. where you are?
Well, howdy. I'm glad to be back, and I'm gonna have to give the point to whoever guessed 11 p.m. because that
Mm.
is what it's at right now.
Thank you.
However, I'm a night owl. I'll probably keep going for a few hours after this podcast, so not a problem.
Great. Well, we're happy to
Yeah.
have you back.
Yeah.
Of
You've
course.
swung by a couple times for some speed runs with Gene. Go, links to those down below. Catch up on all that great stuff.
It's good to
Um,
have you back. Yeah.
yeah, very, very happy
Good
to
to be
hear from
back.
you. What's up
It's
with
nice
you?
to meet
What's
you.
new?
Uh, so not much to be honest. Just working a whole lot, trying to get out to the movies when I can. Actually haven't been out much lately, but Lee Cronin's The Mummy is what kind of got me right back in. So whenever y'all asked me to come on the podcast, I was like, okay, this is like the first movie I've seen in weeks in the theaters, so I actually have something to say about it by proxy of it being like the small drink of water in the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
That's a
will
good
get into it.
analogy
It
too.
seems like a divisive movie, I'll say.
Yeah. It's a little divisive. Yeah. I don't know if it's like, yeah, as divisive as the other Mummy, right? In 27.
No, I mean the Great Dark Universe, dead on
Well,
arrival. If
yeah. Well,
anything ever, nothing was ever more dead on arrival, except maybe like Megan 2. And that's not
Megan
even
too.
me hating the Dark Universe, Mummy, or Megan 2. It's just
Right.
these are rare instances of movies just immediately being rejected by audiences. Like, no, we're
Right.
not doing that. Sorry. Goodbye for that
Yeah. It
franchise.
did not connect with anyone.
No,
You
no.
Yeah.
want to talk a movie that doesn't connect? Why don't you go back and Look at the 2014 release of The Pyramid, distributed by our old friends. Long will they be missed? 20th Century Fox. Nobody? Nobody? The
Yeah,
Pyramid?
I don't think
I
I've seen it.
remember
No.
seeing the ads for that one. I do
Yeah.
remember seeing the ads for that one. Was that a stealth, like dark universe entry, kind of like
No,
Dracula
no,
Untold?
no. It was I was just being funny. I had to. Seuss was complaining about how bad the Mummy was.
Mm.
I'm sorry, Lee Cronin's. I don't know why I keep saying the
Lee
new.
Cronin's The
Lee
Mummy.
Cronin's The Mummy was, and so I was like, I'll show you a fucking bad movie set in a mummy movie, and then showed her the pyramid. And it was like, yeah, there you go.
Hmm.
Now you know what
Brendan
real bad looks like.
Brendan Fraser was not in that movie either. They had
No.
to add that postscript.
No, they sure wanted people to know. I'm sure they were like leaning into it just for like meme
Yeah,
marketing purposes, whatever. But
it's
I
it's
do
funny.
genuinely believe that like that movie has such a foothold in culture right now for our generations that
Hmm.
like calling your movie The Mummy, like I'm sorry, it just people are just gonna ask questions. Like
Yeah.
it's the generational mummy movie, you
I
know?
will be shocked, and this is not me wishing ill upon it, even though I do kind of wish ill upon it because they should have brought back Stephen Summers. Um, I would not be shocked if that movie actually doesn't translate well box office wise come next year, if only because maybe it's, as Scott Mendelson would say,
Hmm.
online only chatter for Fraser Mummy. But we shall see.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, again, as someone who loves that first film, I recently watched it as January. It's a fucking incredible time. Um, I do wonder if the people actually give that much of a shit, like everyday normal working
Mm.
Joes. Oh yeah, speaking of working Joes, Alien Isolation sequel, baby! I'm
Yeah,
ready.
happy belated Alien Day. I want to ask James your thoughts on Alien Day in general since we're here. But yeah, Alien Isolation. Shout out to old friend listener of the show Sergio, who was the first person to tag me on Twitter and be like, Diego, just turn on the channel, any channel, with the video for the I guess the setting announcement.
Hmm.
Some people are assuming it's going to be Hadley's Hope, and one, I hope it's
Hmm.
not. Two, I think they're just going to do the Alien Isolation thing of like it looks like the Nostromo, but it's not, and also there's more to it than that.
I
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
that's
saw
yeah,
someone say
Has
it would
yeah,
to.
be cool if they did the aliens thing, but not gameplay. It's just you have to deal with multiple of them, and it's also set on Haley's Hope. So you just get fucked.
Yeah.
In that sense, it's like, oh, that would be kind of great. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. No,
I'm
no Hadley's Hope, please. Just do another setting. Don't,
yeah,
I feel
don't.
like
I don't need another Romulus. That's all.
that's fair.
I feel like I missed all the Alien Day stuff outside of the Alien Isolation sequel, which of course I'm excited for, but I think I had the traditional Alien Isolation experience, which was playing for 5 hours, then getting so frustrated and scared that I just never touched the game again. So I'm excited to run that back whenever the Isolation sequel comes out, but I'm not gonna act like I stand any chance of finishing that game when it does come
Yeah.
out.
Looks at the
I
several
never.
dozen playthroughs I've actually completed of that. Yeah,
Yeah, I've
I'm gonna
actually
run that
never.
shit
I
back.
don't think I never beat that game either. So I stand with you.
Dan, do I stand with a bunch of weak charlatans who don't know ball? Come
Yeah.
on
Oh,
Max,
now.
you know, I
You
finish
do.
that shit.
Well, I think I just switched to the PS5 and then I just like never picked the game up again. So maybe I could
I've beaten
find
that
it
game
somewhere.
across like three different console generations. I
Hmm.
beat it. What did it came out on the
Damn.
360? No,
Yeah,
was it the one?
yeah,
No,
2014.
it's,
Yeah. So I beat it
yeah.
across the 360, I beat it across the one, and I beat it on my PC, and I'm pretty sure I beat it on a PS5. That's how
Hmm.
much I beat it multiple times. That's how much I fuck with that game. Let's
No, it's a
go.
good game.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, if
great.
anything,
I love
it's
that
just
game.
too effective because it's too scary for some people.
Yeah, a little scary.
I barely
Uh,
even got past the androids, to be honest.
Hmm.
I as soon as the Xenomorph came out, I was like, "Yep, that's a wrap on this game. I will go back to playing Sonic. Thank you very much."
Yeah. Also, just since we brought it up now, there's uh some leaked concept art from the Alien versus Predator anime, which I guess was
Hmm.
subtitled Annihilation. I guess some
Hmm.
producer who used to work at 20th Century Pictures started just showing some like the concept art of like the aliens, um, the Predator that was going to be in it, like the character designs, android stuff, and yeah, they should like release that because I guess it's done. So
Disney, it's free
It's
money.
it's in
Don't you
the
like money? Don't
yeah,
you like profit margins?
it's
Oh
in
my God.
the Disney Vault somewhere,
yeah,
but it probably doesn't make them like whatever money that they want in a certain like thing for like
Put it
their
out.
streaming. Yeah,
yeah, the
Delay.
algorithm didn't say the line was going to go up enough, so we
yeah,
can't
that
we
Put
can't
was
out
release it.
Avengers What's Its Face 2 years from now. Release AVP Annihilation on Doomsday, and I'll
mhm,
get it.
Exactly.
I'll get it to
yeah,
$1 billion. I'll get you your $1 billion property.
yeah.
You know what? You know what? Throw in Star Wars detours as well, and we have a nice little package
Oh,
going.
You know what?
that's
Fuck it. Yeah, do it. Who cares? Who
yeah.
cares? Go
Star
for it.
Wars. Yeah, if anyone hasn't heard of Star Wars Detours, it's a completely finished show from like Seth Green. Uh, that's just in a Disney vault somewhere. It's animated, it was voiced, ready to go, and it's a comedic version of Star Wars that'll never see the light of day
I
ever.
don't mean to get off on a
No, yeah, we'll get
railroad,
back.
but
Yeah,
no, but I'm curious. What is the legal proceedings around? Maybe I should ask Mike this. It's just so you can just hold on to these things and never release it. So
yeah.
what is the difference between this and Zaslav destroying Batgirl from
Oh,
existence?
yeah. Like Zaslav is specifically doing it for a tax return. I don't think Disney, not to say to their credit, but it's the possibility of they might release it, but they're not gonna put it as a tax return. They're just gonna have it in a vault somewhere, and maybe they'll release it one day just on a dry spell on Disney Plus, but they're not gonna put it as legally writing it's a tax return. This was a loss or whatever. So not to give them too much credit, but yeah, that's the like legality of it.
But like, even, but okay, so yes, it costs money to put it out, but I mean, I
Right.
don't know. It's so strange to me. And it's early. I'm sorry. I
No,
Oh,
don't.
no,
sure.
it is strange, and I don't get it either. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just somewhere that's
it's
finished and they're just not sharing it.
yeah,
Hmm.
less media. Yeah, but I
Yeah, but
guess yeah.
we could talk about iconic monsters, which the Universal monsters are. I mean, there's a reason like the Mummy could be rebranded as like an action adventure movie. I
Hmm.
rewatched the original Mummy from the 30s,
40s,
and
30s.
yeah, incredible movie. One of the best looking movies of that era or any era. Um, like just astonishing director work. Um, but it's so different from everything that came after.
Yeah.
And I think that's the benefit of these characters. Like you can really, like, sure, I would argue that these new attempts aren't really working. They are the right like scale of attempts, I think, to
Mm.
sort of rebrand these monsters. Like obviously, Invisible Man, like universally almost praised, right? Like that just
Yeah.
Hmm.
all the gears clicked on that one. It worked. It's great on its own, even if you don't know anything about the Invisible Man. Um, I would argue the Wolfman was far less successful because it almost had to be
Hmm.
related to the Wolfman. Like that movie's so much more interesting if it's like not wolf
Hmm.
related.
Yeah.
And they kind of bend over backwards to also like sand off the wolfiness of it, and I just don't this I don't know what just make him a werewolf. You could still do the fly thing. Just I don't get it. And then the Mummy. We'll get into it, but James, as our guest, like, what are your memories of the Universal monsters? Did you watch them as a kid? I was a scaredy cat, so I didn't really get to them until I was like almost a teenager. Um, and yeah, thoughts on these readaptations of the characters?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question. I feel like a lot of people, I sort of got my earliest Universal monster memories, or I guess in this case, just classic monster memories through cultural osmosis. The first time I really think I saw the monsters come out to play was probably Van Helsing, honestly. And
Nice.
then from there, I kind of went into Young Frankenstein and eventually worked my way back to the actual source material. But I'd say it's been much more of a recent thing, with me kind of exploring and really appreciating these Universal monster movies. What I really like is that all of them are kind of tied into these really primal emotions that usually have some sort of variation on love. Like I just watched The Mummy the other night as well, the classic one, and wow, what a picture. Set design, lighting, of course, Karloff is amazing, but it's also this, you can feel the heartache of this long lost love and sort of sacrificing yourself for that as well. Um, it's interesting how none of the sort of re-adaptations of The Mummy have really touched on that necessarily. Um, well, I mean, other than, of course, the Brendan Fraser one, which those films, like most people my age, I have very fond feelings on. Haven't really revisited them because I don't want to damage my like internal picture of them. Although I am a Steven Summers fan. Shout out G.I. Joe: Rise of Cobra, highly underrated. But in terms of the newer reinterpretations of these characters, I find the 2017 Mummy a massive like guilty pleasure because it is
Mm.
just the most like studio brained, let's get a cinematic universe thing going of the era. And I kind of would have liked them to just have seen it out for the bit, just because I would have genuinely liked to have seen what it looked like. Like y'all, I love The Invisible Man. I kind of also really love Wolfman and think that
Mm.
it almost sort of ties in with the paternal themes of both the original film and the also highly underrated Joe Johnston remake slash reimagining. Um, but the movie we're talking about today, I think, might be my favorite of these reimaginings,
Mm.
just because of how radically it really throws something new at the wall, not only in terms of Universal monsters, well, I guess without the Universal branding, they're just monsters, but
Yeah.
also in terms of the horror space. But I'll get into that later, a little bit later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to say like yeah, it is still so funny because like yeah, you and Gene mentioning like calling them the Universal monsters, it's like it's what they're known as. It's like even when
Yeah.
they're
Mhm.
not Universal now, but you can also
Is
like sand off the edges or sand off the serial numbers on them. Like the Monster Squad, it's not a Universal Pictures movie. It's the Universal monsters though, and in everything
Right.
but name.
Mhm.
Like that's the
Yeah.
hook of that movie, and like that's a cult classic now. I think something like Lee Cronin's The Mummy could become a cult classic in the future. I think it did okay in theaters, right? Like it's doing
it's
fine.
doing
Yeah.
For
it's killing internationally. Like
Really?
it's making fucking money.
Oh, okay. Well, then
Yeah,
I'm
no.
sure they're ecstatic about that because a lot of US stuff just hasn't been translating a lot. Like, you guys remember Twisters came out and here it was like fucking huge. And the moment it went
Mhm.
international, everyone was like, fuck America. Like, we're not watching your shit. And it just like died on the vine. So
I
that's
can speak
interesting.
to Twisters. We were in Rome. I mean, we were in Rome, but when I was in Rome with Seuss a few years ago and we saw it, it was like three other people in the theater.
Damn.
That is obviously not always the just because my experience does not always translate to how things are doing, obviously, but yeah, but I can vouch it. Nobody wanted to see that. Um, but I do want to ask, why are we counting this as a quote unquote Universal monster film when this actually isn't? It,
uh
it's
it's
kind of
just
not when
yeah,
it's
well it's just like the branding, like it's like, for superheroes, like it's, you're just gonna say the Avengers or Marvel. I guess
Mhm.
it's just how, even though the character rights or what have you is
uh,
not not clearly officially owned by Universal, but yeah, it's just kind of what you associate with the
fair enough.
characters. Yeah,
So
but
just because you asked, so right now, domestically, the Mummy, Lee Cronin's The Mummy has done 23,322, 828, 23,000, 23 million, sorry. Internationally, it's done 42 million. So it's at
Whoa.
65. So it it might end up reaching 100. So
yeah,
internationally, people fuck with this.
Okay. Well, good
So
for Lee
yeah. Well,
Cronin.
it's
Yeah.
yeah. Good for him. Yeah, yeah, it's Blumhouse, so you know it's made for less than 100 million. So
Yeah, I
they,
can fucking tell it's set in a goddamn house. I'm sorry.
No, no,
yeah,
it's fine. This is actually very important to talk about. Thank you for raising that point to both of you. Because I think that formula, like spooky things happen to people in a house, like kind of started with James Wan and Insidious and such like that. And that those first two Insidious especially, I love. One is like a great movie. Two is just like hilarious. Like it's so much fun. It's his Giallo movie basically before Malignant, and it has some of the greatest guilty pleasure character dynamics of all time. I've brought it before, but I just need to say, Insidious Chapter 2 is just the most possessed man on planet Earth being like, "Oh, you think I'm possessed? Could a possessed person do this?" And then he'll do something that only a possessed person can do. It's incredible. It's only 90 minutes. Watch it. It's so ridiculous. Um, but all their
That
shit's
was
Banger.
set in
James Wan.
houses. And I don't know if all of these stories benefit from confined settings. I think you do have to start shelling out a little more money for stuff. And Jamie Lee Curtis recently just came out and was like, people are curious about how he makes these movies for so little money. He being James Blum or Jason Blum, and
yep,
then she was just very nakedly saying, he doesn't pay people. That's why. Like he doesn't pay a lot of below the line crew and such. And it's like, yeah,
yeah, that checks out.
yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Look, it's worked a lot of times. I think lately they're really struggling. Last year they had a horrible year, right? Like Megan
Hmm.
2, like the ultimate bomb of like recent memory. Um, and I even like I think the movie's okay. It's just like, man, that one still just like boggles my brain a little bit. And I just don't think that method's working anymore. They gotta like change it up. Not to get all like business brained on this
And
podcast,
also,
Mhm.
it
but
doesn't help that A24 and Neon are basically eating their lunch, and also, I'm not going to say keeping the cost down, but the horror films that they are putting out are still, I would argue, more varied while still being in the cheap range, at the very least.
mhm.
I got to
Yes.
imagine Blumhouse's, if Backrooms comes out here in a few weeks and it fucking just takes a dump trunk of money, I gotta imagine Blumhouse is gonna start seeking out the next sort of internet creepypasta SCP horror adjacent thing. Which,
Mhm.
hey, more to them if that is the case, because that is a cool genre. I
Yeah,
just hope they decide
they they're
to
gonna go
not set
through.
it in a fucking house.
Yeah, they're gonna go through all the Reddit threads of like skinwalkers or creepy encounters.
Yeah.
We'll
And
Slender
see.
They'll
Man,
put
you
it
were
in.
too late.
Slenderman,
yeah.
yeah. But yeah.
I just
Well,
want to say, like, last thing on the low cost of these things, and they're all set in the house. Lee Winnell, who went on to do The Wolfman, which felt like a smaller movie than its budget was, and I'm sure that was
mhm,
like, he was a last minute director, switch.
Hmm.
There was the COVID costs, all that stuff, right?
mhm.
Whatever, so, everyone's allowed a miss once in a while. He also did Upgrade. Do you guys know how much Upgrade cost? Don't look it
I
up.
think
If
it
you
was
if
like
you if you
5 million.
know, like, yeah,
It's
Yeah,
it's
I'd
It was
say
less.
about
five
five
million.
million.
Yeah.
allegedly, it
Probably
cost
two.
$3 million.
Yeah.
Okay, it's pretty close. But yeah, there's
Upgrade.
not. Yeah, sorry, what were you gonna say?
Upgrade. Oh, no worries. I was just gonna say because you brought up upgrade and it's like immediate neuron activation. It is a crime. We don't have that TV series. We don't have Lee Winnell consistently directing sci-fi
I
movies and
know, I
things of
know.
that vein. Such a missed opportunity by Blumhouse. But and there was a house in that one. Maybe they could have done a sequel, set it there if that's really what we needed to do. But man, as much as I love Invisible Man and really like Wolfman, it sucks that Winnell didn't go down that path.
I know.
Yeah, yeah, it really
Yeah,
does.
that movie, it looks great. It feels way bigger than it was. Like you really like
Hmm.
break it down. Like you're like, oh yeah, this is a smaller movie. But when you're watching, it doesn't feel that way. And it's like, do they not want these directors to be ambitious anymore? Like, obviously that's the case,
Yeah.
but like, God, man, like that movie felt like a jolt to the system. I know it made like $5, but or no, no, it was still
No,
technically
it did.
profitable
Yeah, I
because
think
It
it did pretty
was.
well.
yeah,
Yeah,
it made 17 million. Okay, if you make a movie for 3 million, that's a success. You should be
yeah,
allowed to do another one of those. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, and like
yeah.
now
Or
we're looking at
forever
The
just,
Mummy, which
yeah.
costs 7 times as much as Upgrade. It looks cheaper, in my opinion. Love or
Yeah,
hate the movie. I think that's kind of
It does.
undeniable in some ways,
yeah,
which is just it's shocking to me.
yeah.
A movie looks great for a budget The Headhunter. I'm sorry. I just wrote a piece on
Yeah, it
it.
does.
That's
Yeah,
why
Oh
I was
yes,
like,
go check
it
out
does look
Max's
good.
piece on The Headhunter, a movie he recommended to me many times, and I finally saw it a couple years back. And it's really cool. Made for
Yeah.
30
30K
grand.
Jay.
budget, and it
Yeah.
looks better than movies that have budgets in the hundreds of millions. I'm not talking about things
Wow.
specifically, but like
Looks
it
great.
is insane how good that looks and how much is built into that world and in the frame for 30,000. Like it's sorry. I will
No, you're
never
good.
that's my like North Star for like if Tony Stark built this in a cage with a
Hmm.
box of scraps. What do you do?
I
Yeah.
mean, really, you have to just ask these questions, like it's one thing when you hear Michael Bay made Ambulance for $40 million,
Hmm.
and you're like, people don't have any excuse anymore. Then
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
you look at these, and
Yeah.
you just have to ask questions. And you got to
Yeah.
get we got to get these guys making like real shit again.
No,
Yeah.
definitely. Oh, well, all right. So we're talking the Universal monsters, but got a question for James because he went to the Universal Epic Universe now that's titled the Dark Universe part for the Universal Monsters part. Do you think they repurposed storylines or material that they had for the actual Dark Universe movies in that part of the attraction?
So unfortunately, I haven't been to Epic
Oh,
Universe.
okay.
I was in Vegas for CinemaCon recently,
Oh,
and
okay.
I went to Monsters Unleashed. I think Horror Unleashed is what it was called. That was very cool.
Mm,
That's basically their little version of Halloween Horror Nights, but in one big facility with like three different bars, a Blumhouse restaurant. It's a very funny kind of cool place. But they had a Universal Monsters maze there, which was pretty much just your classic run of the mill pay tribute to your ancestors, sort of like, all right, there's the mummy, there's Dracula, there's Frankenstein, so on and so forth. But I'm glad that you asked me about that because
hmm
if we're talking about the 2017 Mummy earlier, if we're talking failed projects, they had an Exorcist believer maze there,
Oh
and
no. Oh,
as maybe one of the defenders of that movie, it was
okay.
very funny. And when I went to go get like merch at the end, they had Exorcist believer merch, and they did like a little Easter egg hunt thing there where like you could like if you found all these like hidden Easter eggs, you can get like a prize. My prize is like 50% off merch.
Mm.
Um, and the merch that I got was like an Exorcist believer shirt. And then immediately they took another like they like halved the halve because they're like, yeah, all this is like 50% off. Like it's gotta go.
I
It's like
am
with a bunch of
also
Poochie shirts.
I am also I'll say a soft defender because I haven't seen it since theaters.
Yeah.
But I actually quite enjoy that. I don't actually understand why people were like it's the second coming of the devil in theaters.
Hmm.
But I thought I enjoyed it for what it was. And
Hmm.
as a connection between that and Lee Cronin's The Mummy, shout out to having a really fucking dark ass ending, which is
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
something that you typically get with studio fare. So I definitely will give them credit that it's just unfortunate it will never be fucking followed up on because
No.
oh my
Yeah.
God, a
It's
kid gets dragged to hell in that, and it's just like, oh, that's so fucking grim, but I kind of dig it for deciding to just be that dark. Um, which
I think
feels of a
that
piece of the Exorcist films, if I'm being actually honest. Um,
I completely agree. I think that Exorcist Believer was kind of a victim of the Halloween Ends, very over the top hatred. And I also feel like Lee Cronin's The Mummy, to circle back here, is in a
hmm
sense it's almost a victim of some negative, perhaps not even truthful publicity that came out beforehand regarding the
hmm
film's test screenings that kind
Yeah.
of
Or
I mean, the film is it's doing much better than Exorcist
yeah.
Believer. Don't get me wrong, but um, I do wonder, at least in the horror community online, I saw a lot of people writing this movie off, frankly, just because of the
Hmm.
reports of uh of the negative test
Yeah,
screenings,
which
which is
were factually untrue. Yeah.
mhm.
sorry,
It was
sorry.
like
I
yeah, it
just
was
have to
a
say this is crazy. yeah, The Exorcist Believer didn't do well. I say, and it made 136 million on a budget of okay, maybe I gotta look at the budget. The budget was
I think it was
man,
it was like 30 or 40, right? I
yeah, it's
remember
30
this.
million. It made
Mhm.
65 at the domestic,
Hmm.
and it made 71 internationally. So sounds like it at least got what to the red.
It,
Um,
uh, I think
Yes,
it
but we
paid a
have
lot of
to.
it.
Mhm.
But
It paid
I
a lot
think
of money for
that's
the
fair.
yeah,
rights and
they paid
everything.
$400 million for the rights
Yeah,
to a
so
trilogy.
that's
Oof.
So
Jesus
with those
Christ, that's
numbers, yeah,
terrible.
someone's got fired. That wasn't
It,
just David Gordon Green, my goat,
yeah.
because he killed it with his trilogy of Halloween movies. Um,
Agreed.
Yeah,
even Halloween Kills, which I don't like, love. I'm like, man, that's like a genuinely insane movie to release in theaters. And then
yeah.
Halloween Ends is even crazier, but I think that one's actually good. But
As
anyways,
Mhm.
yeah,
took a lot of
um, weird
uh,
weird
I,
direction for
yeah,
there, and
I, yeah,
yeah, interesting parallels
yeah. It
between the
is.
response to this. I think good point, James.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the thing that James was saying. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt,
Mhm.
James. When you were saying it, yeah, it was factual and true because Lee Cronin was like, yeah, James Wan, he didn't walk out. He just had to use the bathroom. And it was like, small things got mothballed into these like huge things of like he walked out in disgust or something, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I fucking hate the reporting on test audiences. I hate a lot of like the Jeff Snyder type journalism, quote unquote journalism reporting.
No,
Because also like even
that's
if
not
like
correct.
that
Yeah.
was true, like James Wan was massively disappointed in something he produced. Okay, like who fucking cares, dude? It's like a test screening. Like
It's
also,
Yeah.
also not
uh,
indicative of
yeah,
the
it doesn't
quality of
doesn't
the
mean you're
film.
not gonna like it. Like who
Yeah.
cares, man? I've
Remember
walked
the
out of
test
shit people
audiences who
like
hated
before. Like it
Fury
doesn't
Road?
matter.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Like the people who hated fucking Fury Road, it's like, and we all consider that to be one of the greatest films ever. So I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't fucking care that much what a test audience thinks.
Yeah, if you're
Um,
making like mass entertainment, like this is um that's why this Mummy movie was made, right? A crowd-pleasing
Mhm.
studio horror
Hmm.
movie. That is not inherently a good or bad thing. That is the attempt that was made with this version of The Mummy. You want the audience to like that movie. That's what those test screenings are for.
Hmm.
Now, should every movie need them? No. But like for something like this, I could at least understand the process. Like we want to see how audiences are going to react when we release this to the world.
yeah.
Okay, let's see where they
Mhm.
do they laugh here? Do they jump here? You know, do they scream here? Are there no responses? You don't want that in a movie. So I can at least understand that. We don't need to hear about that shit. You know?
No,
Yeah,
no,
it's not really.
that's none of our business. And all it
Mhm.
does is just give us an unfair like assumption of what the movie's going to be as well. Like we don't know what they do
Yeah.
with that data.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah,
we don't write your
yeah.
review of a movie before you see it. You can like
Mhm.
trailers, you can have a response to be like, that doesn't look interesting to me. I'm not interested. Perfectly
Hmm.
valid, right? Like I hate the oh, it's just a trailer, like wait till you watch the movie. It's like, well, I don't want to watch the movie now. So like I'm gonna not do that. Like which is acceptable,
It's
you know? But
yeah.
that's not
Mhm.
writing a review of a movie before you see it. That's just not wanting to engage with that. You were going to engage with something else maybe, you know?
Yeah.
Um I'll be honest, wasn't super hype on the trailers for this movie, but
Mm.
I loved Evil Dead Rise and I really like Lee Cronin's first movie, so part of me was like, oh, maybe they just don't know how to sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James, you came away not just very positive about the movie, it sounds like. You said like it's something that kind of instilled wanting to have more of a discussion about the movie overall.
Yeah.
Um I would like to hear more about you on that. Like what was your big takeaway after watching Lee Cronin's The Mummy? Let's just get into this thing.
So I think my big takeaway from Lee Cronin's The Mummy is it's been a while since I've seen a major studio horror be this nasty and outwardly like hostile towards its audience, which I found kind of fascinating and invigorating. I mean, we were joking around earlier that a lot of this movie, right, is mostly set in a house. Yes, but the surroundings outside the house are kind of filled with dense interweaving mythology. I really sorry, I'm super scatterbrained because I have so much to talk about here.
Yeah, you go
Um,
crazy,
Hmm.
go crazy.
so I'll just start by saying I think in terms of creating a new mummy for like our modern audiences, this little girl freaked me the fuck out. She was gross. She was disgusting. The gore was way further than I would have ever expected for something like this. And I think if we're bringing test audience into it, I think that probably had something to do with what was going on there. But I also think that the film had a strong narrative that introduced us to a new mythology rather and new themes rather than repeating on what we've seen in the past. I wasn't the biggest Evil Dead Rise guy. I do like the film, but I feel like especially coming back off of Fede Alvarez's 2013 Evil Dead, it felt a little more like a retread, which is ironic because that's what Alvarez has gone on to do now. Um, but for me, The Mummy felt wildly original for a movie that was based off of an IP. It constantly moves. It's 2 hour and 15 minute runtime just flies by for me. It's constantly finding new ways to kind of poke and prod at you. There's never a moment where you truly feel safe as an audience, and I liked the way that the sort of spirit, if you will, that enters the child. Uh, I like the mythology around that. I like the way the goopy gore worked. I think it's always nice to see Jack Rayner on my screen. Underrated is kind of the operative word of the day, but he is super underrated. Shout out Free Fire. Um, and of course, I forget the actress's name, but the actress who was in Moon Knight and was going to be in
Mm,
Gladiator
Yeah,
2.
May Kalamaui.
Yes, May Calamaui was fantastic. I always kind of love when they throw in an investigation angle into a horror movie, and I thought that fit really well here. And
mhm,
I don't know, man. This felt really high effort and really dense in a way that the other sort of attempts to revitalize material, like say The Invisible Man, which is also great, but also has one very specific thing it wants to talk about. Same with Wolfman. This kind of goes in a lot of different directions and is expansive and has its own identity that I feel like is very separate from Lee Cronin's take on Evil Dead, which that's been the big online
mhm.
discussion, right? Is this just him using the Mummy IP to do an Evil Dead movie? And I don't really
Yeah,
agree with that, but I'd be interested to hear where y'all stand on not only that, but the movie overall.
yeah. I was gonna say really quickly, did you see the thing where he was like the professor in the Mummy is like related to the professor in like Evil Dead Rise, or the one of the characters in Evil Dead Rise?
I'm sure we'll
And I was
definitely see
like,
those crossover.
Yeah,
yeah,
Well,
I did not hear that.
yeah,
I did hear that, but
uh,
I didn't read the article because I thought, oh, that makes sense because his voice, that professor's voice, was so fucking distinctive that I thought I remember his voice being in Evil Dead Rise, which I'm pretty certain it was. That's why I was like, oh, okay. But like
yeah,
it, when people say connections, even a director, no, and this is no offense or shade to him. I'm like that's I I don't associate that immediately as like we're building something. It's just more so like, oh, it's just
Mhm.
fun that I just have this same guy. So I yeah.
hmm
Um
Right.
for myself,
hmm
uh
yeah,
the film I found it it's not good, I don't think. And I think a large issue with that is twofold, which is one, it is its runtime, but the runtime isn't so much the problem as much as the middle section of the film really drags. But I think my bigger issue, I think, is that the film takes 30 minutes to actually get started. And uh it opens like three different times before it finally settles on Katie's missing and then Katie comes back. And the part of me almost thinks, again, one of the things I actually do like is that it suddenly becomes this really dark, do revenge against brown people ending, which is sort of kind of fucked up. But I almost wonder if the opening that we see, which starts with this Egyptian family coming home, returning home, seeing a dead bird, and then you get this mysterious black pyramid and a child who is chained up beneath. Um, I almost wonder if that was, I don't want to say a reshoot, but let's just say a reshoot, because if they had just open with the Katie family and then Katie going missing and then jumping into Katie, years later and then Katie coming back. I wonder if that opening with the Egypt family was a reshoot to make sure that if they actually did the ending, they're like, wait, we can't just have them do revenge against brown people and we don't really know
Mhm.
who this family is,
Mhm.
so to speak. So I'm a bit I wonder if that, but I didn't hate the film. I don't think it's not even the fucking worst thing I've seen this year. Wuthering Heights. But it's yeah, my big issue is it really sags in the middle. Um and I'm
Mm.
to I guess counter James, I'm not trying to be a contrarian, but
Mhm.
I actually found Jack Rayner to be woefully miscast, I think, for this part. Um
Mm.
he wasn't really gravitating to me in terms of everything that's going on. If anything, I found the investigation part to be the most interesting. And also because it's set in Egypt, this is not, I'm not asking for what I wish the movie was, but if I was to do that, um, I really think there is a much stronger case to be made about a mummy movie being set in Egypt, dealing with Egyptian characters and families and all of that. But they will never do that because Egyptian actors apparently don't bring in money. Um, but I actually found that to be more interesting because suddenly you're dealing with culture you don't really understand while also getting that really cool, like sort of dark noir Exorcist 3 fucking investigation element. Shout out Exorcist 3, my fucking beloved.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
but
A lot of a lot of exorcists in this film. There's a
yeah,
lot of it. A
that
lot
is
of
it.
like influence.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's very Exorcist, but the Mummy, and I think ultimately, and it's not that I went to the film Knives Out. Uh, but it is, I think inherently that was maybe my issue going in. It's like, oh, it's just a girl who's possessed by a mummy. And I wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt before I let that sort of take over, but I could feel that that was maybe my core hang up is just like, that's just, it feels like something I've seen not just before, but I keep seeing, and I'm like, can't we be a bit more, can we not be more ambitious with this? Now, granted, this was Lee Cronin's script and everything, so this is what he wanted to do. So I don't want to belittle that. But if from what I understand, between this, obviously Evil Dead Rise, which rocks, and then his first film, Hole in the Ground, I think
Mhm.
there seems to be a precedent, so to speak, and I kind of wish there was a bit. I just wish there was a bit more ambitious something, and maybe it's the Fraser mummy, deep in my bones, but it's just something about that's just like keeps me a bit at arm's length. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, and then also the Blumhouse of it has to. It can't just be set in a house. It's set in a house in fucking Albuquerque, and it's like you couldn't be any farther away from anything to do with Egypt. And it's like fucking Albuquerque, and it's like what you couldn't think of, I don't know, the Grand Canyon, but like yeah. Sorry. I'm not that negative on it, but there are decisions where of about this film that I kind of bump up against. But in the spirit of just, there are things to like about it. I do like the gore. There's a particularly, I thought of those maligned things we heard about on scene. I thought the film would be nastier, but I don't hold that against it. There's a scene with a scorpion that's like really just like, oh damn, like fuck. So props to that. Again, I like the sort of mean streak that kind of develops that develops towards the very end as sort of a ballsy, like, damn, you just don't see people do this. Um,
Mhm.
and I do like the concept of skin coming off like bandages, but I will say when they introduce that this girl is possessed, spoilers for this film, that she's possessed by some type of demon cursed
Mhm.
entity or whatever. I was 100% expecting that thing to like rip out of this girl, and suddenly they're fighting like a monster, like a real fucking, like not even a mummy, but like a fucking dog monster, whatever. And it didn't happen. And I don't hold it against it, but I was like, oh wait, that would have been a much more visually like interesting thing to look at. But we can get into that. But and obviously, I think the final
Yeah.
act I really enjoy because that's when things really start to pop off, and the Evil Dead isms of the film really start to rear their head. Um, But yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't the biggest fan of the film. There are parts that I did enjoy, but I'm held back by a lot of key creative decisions that just I bump up against. Sorry.
Would you call
No,
yourself
you're
like a
good.
Lee
Uh,
Cronin's? Would you call yourself like a Lee Cronin's The Mummy, like agnostic in that case then?
Yeah, that's probably about where I come closer to agnostic. Like again, it's not like the worst thing ever. People who are
Mhm.
like decrying this in the streets, like it's guys. Like I had to tell Seuss, my partner, I was just like, he's like, this is really bad. I'm like, I don't even think this is the worst thing I've seen this year. That belongs maybe to the bluff.
Mhm.
But it's like it's
yeah.
not great, but it's not dog shit either. Like
Right.
what are we doing?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, that's great. I was just gonna say though, that first act of the movie, even though it takes a while to start, I mean, that's like the crux of the movie because that's like saying for The Exorcist, if we didn't spend so much time with the family, then you wouldn't care as much when the girl gets possessed and like all this stuff that's happening. So, I mean, the movie was a little bit slow, and there's probably like 20 minutes you could take out, but I think the intent of that is to make you care about like Katie and this family. So, I mean, even though it's a little slow, I don't think you would have that close of a reaction to the scenes later where you see like Katie being kidnapped or how she was actually embalmed and possessed and some of the more disturbing stuff. It wouldn't hit as psychologically as terrifying if you didn't have all that in the beginning to make you care about her. So I don't know. I really disagree there with that.
Uh,
I don't know. I almost
yeah.
will sort of defend Max's viewpoint here and like
Mhm.
I really don't feel like I learned a lot about the characters. I think the
Mhm.
movie wanted me to feel like I learned a lot about the characters, but I couldn't describe, like I really if I tried to describe the character of Katie to you
Mhm.
pre like mummification, I really couldn't. And
She like chocolate.
with yeah, okay, there we go. Problem solved. I'm wrong.
Yeah. No, you're good.
No, I'm much more on Max's wavelength as well. But Gene is right. Like you need that element in there.
Yeah.
It's too long. I think Cronin's pacing is like his biggest problem as a filmmaker, bar none.
hmm
This movie's too long. It's way too fucking long. You can cut
Yeah,
30 to
there's
40, I think, out of this movie.
yeah,
And
there's
And
even
some
I
good
said
and I
they had
parts.
think
an
tightening
original
up.
ending where it ended with Charlie being possessed, and then bam, that's it. So even if you just cut out, and again, I'm conflicted because I'm actually more invested in the Egyptian side of this film
Well, I
than I
think I just
am
lost y'all.
the oh
Can y'all hear me?
Oh, no, he can hear
oh yeah,
you.
yeah.
He can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
All right,
good.
perfect, perfect.
You're good, yeah.
I'm more invested in the Egyptian side of this film, but if you cut out the Egyptian family in the beginning and the end, and you just keep her at the fringes or whatever, you have a much tighter film. Like in here, I think you probably lose 15. Sorry, it's my alarm. You probably lose a good 15 minutes, and you probably bump up somewhere close to 2 hours or at 2 hours, which feels a lot better, and you get into it. And it's not to say I don't want that character stuff, but then you have to have stronger character stuff on the page or on the screen, and there just isn't. And there's hints of like they keep mentioning like sexual assault and
Hmm.
human trafficking, which again for that darker edge of that I kind of enjoyed. I'm like, oh, I kind of I like what you're doing with that, but again, it kind of gets a bit nasty when you think, oh, human trafficking out in Egypt, and it's like I can
Hmm.
see those things just not like bumping together, not even just in a filmic sense, but also in a cultural sense. Or it's like, oh, what are you trying to say about, Egypt? Um,
hmm
but there's
It's a
just
little
this,
othering.
yeah, it's a little,
Hmm.
that's a great term. It's a little othering, but yeah, inherently those things just don't mesh, even though I like the darker aspect. So again, I don't want to critique the film that it is not, but I just, on paper, it's like, I just think you have a much stronger film set in Egypt with Egyptian characters. You can even keep the fucking one house thing, but you just have something inherently more interesting and complex than white family that starts out in Egypt and goes to fucking the
But they
Albuquerque
were half
thing.
Hispanic. They were half Hispanic.
That's
To be,
fair. They were half
yeah.
No,
Hispanic, yes.
they're not Hispanic. They're Latino.
Yeah.
Ah,
right?
there we go. Okay, thank you.
I got an
There we
abuela.
go.
But yeah, you can even keep the white guy. Just make him stay in Egypt, and then he has like Egyptian family. Like there's, I don't know. I just there's it really sucks that as an Egyptian, as a concept that is rooted in Egypt, cultural mythology and history, somehow no one has just thought to just make a straight movie about this in Egypt with Egyptian people. And it's just inherently to me, it's like, oh, it's so much more fucking rich and interesting than white people. And again, love the Brendan Fraser films, but we could have did something actually interesting and more exciting. You can even keep on the human trafficking thing if you center this around Egyptian people. Um, yeah, yeah. Sorry.
I don't even think that like that sounds like a more compelling narrative. I don't know if that solves all the film's problems, but I
It
agree
doesn't.
it's a much more compelling reason to tell this
Mhm.
story nowadays, basically, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just like, foreign boogeyman monsters, which is like that's what a lot of pulp fiction adventure stories rely on, right? Like as much as we love like stuff like The Mummy, it's like there's that secret organization of vaguely Middle Eastern people who I guess are like the Mummy
Mhm.
Illuminati, right? And like there's questions we have to address there. Now that we have a better cultural understanding of the world, we're all adults here.
Yeah.
It's like probably not okay to do that anymore. But it's like,
I think those elements are they can you can keep them if you're trying to tell a very pulpy sort of thing. I think
Mhm.
those things do come inherent with that, and that's fine as long as you like as long as you are I guess actualizing the act of I know this is problematic, but this is what's in the genre. This doesn't mean I'm trying to demonize XYZ. It's just like,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah,
hey, you
yeah.
want pulp? You
Mhm.
got you got to get the vegetables with the meat, so to speak. Like, hey, sometimes I mean I like my vegetables, but sometimes those things are just there, and you got to roll with that. Not you, but the general you.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah,
think
yeah, of
also
course.
it's just the sort of the trauma, and this film is about a family's trauma. I hate fucking saying that word. Um, but like I'm also I think that's the other thing I'm sick of. And James, you made a great point about The Wolfman from last year. A film again I did not like, but I really appreciated taking that paternal, that patriarchal thematic depth that the Joe Johnston Wolfman had, and then the original Wolfman, and translating that into that version. I think the spirit of that is there, and that is actually probably the one good element of that film that I kind of really like that I wish was stronger. Um, but in thematizing these universal monsters, and I was telling this Diego a few days ago, my biggest issue is I think a lot of these films just not forget, but I think they lose sight of the fact that a lot of Universal Monster films are sort of fun. I don't need it to be a good, like, feel good time, but like there is an ebb and flow of a fun, like, spooky romp, and these things are
Mhm.
not fun. The Invisible Man, great movie, perfectly works for what that is and what that's trying to do, but they keep doing that version and grafting it on these other films, and that's just not what all of these films need to be. It's sort of suffering on a microcosm, the thing that they were doing with The Mummy 2017, but now they're doing it to the Universal Monsters, where those films were going to be way too big for what they were. Now these are like
Mhm.
all sort of about this trauma. I hate it. And
Mhm.
I'm just like, fucking, you want to keep one location? Fine. Set that shit in a museum. Have a couple thieves bump in the night. Oh shit, we stole the wrong thing. Bam, mummy's loose in the museum, picking them off. Like, let's just let's not put on airs here. You want to see mummy doing mummy shit. I want to see mummy doing mummy shit. Let's keep let's I don't know, but maybe it's because my sensibilities lie a bit more
Mhm.
in pulp and crime fiction. But there's something more inherently cut to the chase, 90 minutes in and out, let's go. And that's
Yeah.
not I'm not arguing for what this movie should have been
Y-
again. It's
Sure,
just
yeah. I mean,
something a bit more, yeah.
yeah, I think there's yeah, so much of the Blumhouse versions of the monsters that you've seen the last couple of movies, yeah, they're very kind of tied to a lot of like real world sort of like horrors, I guess, outside of
Mhm.
like supernatural horrors. So it's like Invisible Man is like essentially like, yeah, domestic violence, and then yeah, Wolfman is like abuse, and this was like child, like trafficking, and then also like I guess like yeah, torture to an extent because it's like some of the videotape segments almost felt like stuff that you're seeing from the real world that
Hmm.
felt a little too heavy. I don't know, not to say like it didn't fit that the story they were going to tell, but yeah, it was kind of hard to watch in those
Hmm.
instances. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
definitely want to. Oh, sorry.
well, I just want to say, like, I think the cruelty of the movie is like, in some ways, even though I agree with a lot of these criticisms, like, I think that's the strength of the movie, like having something this
Hmm.
nasty and like brutal and
Hmm.
mean
Yeah.
and like in tone and spirit. Like that's the stuff that Lee Cronin clearly gets a kick out of the most. And it really is just that kind of the pacing and the character stuff. I feel like he's almost like we have to get through this. It's like he's not
Hmm.
that interested in the family dynamics. And I think if the movie was more interested in them, it makes for a better movie. Like, because then
Hmm.
we wouldn't be having a discussion about like, you can cut out stuff with the family opening here and there. It's like, well,
Hmm.
if it was effective, then we wouldn't be thinking about it twice, you know? Then
Yep.
I
it
mean,
wouldn't, it would just be,
yeah.
it wouldn't be wasting time. We feel like we waste our time a little bit. And like, that's why I think the third act is probably all of our favorite parts of the movie. Like,
Hmm.
once it's
Hmm.
like starting to go for the stuff we all came to see. It's finally
Yep.
there, you
Yep.
know?
Yeah.
I feel like we kind of dilly-dally too long here. But yeah, go ahead, James.
Yeah, yeah. I was just gonna circle back to what Max and Gene were talking about a little bit, where I feel like this movie is at its absolute best when it is what I would call like fun mean, where
Hmm.
it's all about the goopy, gross gore. It's all about like people getting thrown across a room and licking up blood and all of that. But I do feel like the movie very much stumbles when it tries to be mean in the same way with topics like human trafficking and mentions of sexual assault and whatnot. I feel like that's where it kind of veers off course. Now, what Max was saying about Pulp, I entirely agree. I think the movie should have fully leaned into that, not to not to make the movie in my head rather than take it for what it is. But I do feel like that really brutal kind of like do revenge against brown people like ending almost in a sense is kind of accomplishes the tone of what the movie should have been to me at least. Um but I think there's enough in this movie that's just pure like funhouse like meanness that I still came away pretty damn positive about it.
Hmm.
I also want to give some props to Jack Reynor, because I think sometimes he's an actor who I've come to realize for myself, anyways. Like I really respond to his work when the material's there, and I just don't think there's really anything for him to
Hmm.
do in this movie besides be like a doe-eyed dad.
Hmm.
He's not super nice. He's not super shitty. He's like he's the dad character in a movie. Because yes, he is great in I think he's great in Midsommar as
Hmm.
the douchebag boyfriend who still didn't deserve what happened, by the way.
Yeah.
It's weird that
Yep.
people treat that
Hmm.
as like a girl boss movie. That's not what that movie's doing.
No.
But we that's another discussion for the time.
Yeah.
Um Free Fire, when James brought it up, I forgot about Free Fire. Free Fire rules. He also
Yep.
did Sing Street that same year, both 10
Hmm.
years old this year.
Yeah.
He's awesome in Sing Street. He's just like the supportive, older, washed up
Hmm.
older brother.
Yeah, he's
Um,
still good in that one too.
yeah, Sing Street rules. Everyone go watch Sing Street. That's a feel good movie. It's like if you didn't like how the Mummy made you feel, go watch Sing Street. Um, and shout out, I could not place her, and I barely looked it up right now, and I have the Wikipedia page open. Elia Costa, who plays the mother, Larissa, in the movie,
Hmm.
she was in this awesome movie from like 11 years ago called Victoria. Did anyone remember that? It was like one of
Vaguely.
the first like true like one shot movies. And it totally runs out of steam. That's a movie that's also too long. But she's Victoria and she's the lead in that movie. And I was like, who is this? I can't remember who this was. And I would recommend that movie if you want to see like what like indie cinema was like 10 years ago versus now. Because like for
Hmm.
the flaws of that movie, very ambitious. Very
Mm.
fucking ambitious movie. And she's great in it, and she's very good here as well. Less to play with. That movie takes turns where you're like, oh, I didn't know we're doing this. Um, and then shout out Lily Sullivan, who has a bit part basically
They
Yeah,
as
really
there's
the
a
frump
cam.
her up in
Mhm.
this.
She has a cameo as the teacher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Oh
bring her
wow, I
back
didn't
for an
even
Evil
notice
Dead
that.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they really frump her up. It's like I clocked her because I was like I was
uh-huh.
like she's real frumpy.
Hmm.
Yeah, they give her like a wig, but yeah, I guess she liked working with Lee Cronin that much that she came back just to do like one little scene here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always nice to see, when they keep their crew together like that.
Oh
Especially
yeah.
because, you basically hear horror stories about how fucking hard Evil Dead movies are to make. So if
Hmm.
they work with those people again, they got along at least well enough to like keep that party going.
Mm.
So I don't know. I just wanted to give those people their flowers. Like I like their work a lot, and of course, James also brought up May Calamawy. I apologize if that's not the proper pronunciation of her last name, but she's very good. I didn't
Hmm.
watch
Hmm.
Moon Knight, but I like her in this, and
Yeah,
Did
she was good Moon Knight.
she's got great
just
charisma. She's got
Yeah.
like movie star charisma.
yeah, I there's a part of this where again not wish for the movie that should have been, but there's a part of this where she's the lead, and again it's if you do this Exorcist 3 but the Mummy, I'm suddenly sitting there like, ooh, are we cooking? Do I need to do I need to lock in here? But I never mind. I had another point I was gonna make, but
Well,
I lost
Exorcist
it.
and Exorcist 3 are just the best shit ever. So like
Yeah.
I'm honestly like people were like it's just like The Exorcist and he just wants to do another Evil Dead. On paper, I don't care about. I'm like that sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
just didn't think it works here.
yeah,
Yeah, well, I
yeah.
just think of like possessed characters like how Katie was. It is similar to like a Deadeye, but then like it's like kind of like how zombies are in movies, not having like a fast zombie or whatever. They're all still zombies. So it's like, I don't know how else to do like how else you could do someone like possessed in
That's
like
the other
by a
thing
demon.
too.
Mhm.
Now you're because I'm remembering now the Evil Deadisms, which I think we all agree towards the back half of the film is like where it gets fun, but it also doesn't
Mhm.
really make sense because we don't really know how this curse works.
Oh, it's
Whereas we've got 20, 30 years of Evil Dead movies to know how Evil Dead works.
hmm
But here it's just like suddenly other people dead and alive start becoming possessed. I'm like, I wait, how does this work? Like,
yeah. I guess it was a little vague, yeah.
yeah.
But
Um,
but yeah. Yeah, I was just saying like just to come to say like it rips off like he's ripping off himself and like Evil Dead Rises like it feels like disingenuous because it's like then it's like if you do a zombie in another film and then in another one if it's slightly similar it's like you're not ripping off all zombies or what have you. It's just like it ends up kind of being similar by default. So
mhm.
yeah, I
Mhm.
was
I
trying to
I
make
do
that
think
point.
it's worth noting though that like because I agree with that, Gene. I would say though specifically because of his three features that he's made, they all feature children in peril as the central
Sure, yeah.
conflict, and so I think like for me, like I think he needs to stretch his legs a little bit more because I'm a
Hmm.
fan. I wanted to like this much more than I did.
Mhm.
Um, in that I didn't really like it. I was kind of bored until the goopy stuff started happening.
Hmm.
Um, and so I want him to be more ambitious. I want to see what else he can do because he loves to go crazy with the camera. He loves his split diopters. I'm
Yeah,
doing
there's a lot.
the Leo pointing meme along with my Sydney Volpe. If anyone fan here from House of Cinema podcast, the number one split diopter fan, and I know she didn't really respond to this movie either, but the split diopters, Lee Cronin knows how to use them. You
Yeah.
know,
He does.
tons
He
Oh,
of
does.
fun.
I see a lot of people come after him for like the overuse of split diopters, but I'm like, it looks sick every time.
Yeah,
What do
it's
you
Yeah.
want me
like
to say?
Yeah,
they're
like no,
mad at him
we
for having style.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know. It's like no, we want this. We want even movies we don't really care for to be like,
Mm.
but someone kind of shot the shit out of it, you
Yeah.
know?
yeah.
It's like
Mhm.
Madam Web having all the like color and all the
Yeah,
lighting and everything. At
Madam
least they
Web
tried,
Mhm.
is a remarkably well shot movie when it's the action scenes for some reason. I'm
Hmm.
not even joking. When I finally
Yeah,
saw that last year, I
it's
was like, someone cooked here and they like fucked them and they didn't let
yeah.
them finish making that movie. And
I meant
instead they
to
made a bad movie.
I meant to ask because I we were talking about the Evil Dead, and this was my initial question. Who got the new Evil Dead Burn teaser with this? Because I did not
Oh,
get it.
I
oh,
didn't.
I did, yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Okay.
I was late for my my trailers. I got the last little AMC thing, so I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Gotcha.
think
Okay.
they put it online now, so you
Yeah.
could
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
check
No,
it
that's
yeah.
out
fair.
if you didn't get a chance to.
I'll say this, they showed a very long trailer for that at CinemaCon,
Mm.
and what you saw, the teaser that y'all have seen is massively underselling that movie. It
Mm.
is, I just wait for it. Just wait for
Okay.
it. Get
Very,
You're gonna beat the
very,
people
very
saying, "Why is
excited.
this so dark?"
Yeah,
I,
I'm
yeah,
very excited for that movie, and I will say like that teaser, the announcement that Evil Dead Wrath, I think, is the
Burn.
next one after
Mhm.
Yeah,
Burn.
Wrath is the next one. Yeah, yeah. But Burn is what's coming.
Yeah, okay, and then yeah, Burn this year, then Wrath 2 years from now, right? They pushed
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
back,
They
right?
moved it. Yeah.
Yeah, no need to start doing those yearly or anything. People get sick of it. And then this movie, it's fun to live in a world where like, yeah, it's just like another Evil Dead, and I'm like, wait, we didn't have this for most of our lives. Like, let's at least enjoy
Yeah.
that now, you
Yeah.
know?
Let's not do this. Let's not do the Star Wars thing. I'm happy
Uh-huh.
we're getting some on a bit on a more uh, sequential basis, but let's not
Mhm.
overdo it.
Yeah.
Let's give
Yeah.
some air. Let's give some air to some of this. Maybe after Wrath, let's take another 2, 3 year break. It's just well, yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I'm excited for Burn. I mean, I'm always excited for a new Evil Dead.
Yeah.
I am very curious about this longer trailer because listening to the big picture and the town where you got fucking Sean Fennessy like this is my fucking shit. I am
Mhm.
sending to a higher plane, and you got Matt Bellamy just like I had to cover my eyes. I can't handle it. I'm just like pussy, fucking pussy. Open your eyes, you
He's just not a
fucking
horror
50.
guy. He's
I know.
that's someone
Mhm.
who should be talking about the business side of things, not the which to his credit he fully does, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Unless you're fucking on the town movie podcast, I don't need to hear what anyone's talking about with test screenings or any of
Nope.
that shit. Because
Yeah.
there are pros for this. If you're out there tweeting like, "Oh, I don't know, business wise, this doesn't really make," I don't care about you.
Stop
No
pocket
one cares
watching.
about you.
No one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Stop
it's
pocket
what
watching.
Yeah.
yeah. It is one of those things with the town. Sorry to again last
Mhm.
rant I think is one of those things where I have to remember it's about business because whenever he talk the second he gives his opinion on an actual movie or he says I'm just like God, I you are so like tiny and like uninteresting in your opinions. Like God, a new horror movie. Oh, I don't need to see it to cover my eyes. Like you're fucking 50 years old or some shit. Like you can't handle this
Yeah.
shit. It's fucking fake, dog. Like I guess my thing is he sounds like one of those guys who they've never like tried to open or expand their worldview in
Mhm.
movies, but again, that might just be who he is because he's
Yeah.
more interested in business, which is totally fair. So
You could just be a
as someone
prude.
who is creative, I bump up against it because I'm just like, you have nothing interesting to say. Like when he was on the big picture and he said, "Oh, I'd rather be Disney because their slate is safe." Man, fuck off. Fuck safe. Who wants to be safe anymore? Let's go crazy. Let's throw each other on apparently a dishwasher full of knives. I need to see this.
To his
Let's
credit, he has been vocally anti Disney Plus about like why aren't we talking about how they're the worst streaming service? Like he's got his failings and he
yeah.
is him and his team at the town. I just have to say I respect that they're like we're not here to give our opinions on the quality of the movies. We're talking about the business side of things. The
Yeah,
quality
yeah,
conversations come up just because they will, but
yeah,
they're saying like they're not making themselves the arbiters of determining quality. That's
yeah.
a separate conversation. They do a good job making that clear. And I also have to say that if you think that shit's fucking bad, as someone who's like just knee deep in photography now in my day-to-day life, thankfully, uh hearing other photographers talk about like popular ones like on the YouTube space and stuff like that and in the
Hmm.
real world talk about their opinions on like other art is like dude Max, you don't even know, dude. You're like, that's nothing. It's
You know,
bad. It's
I
probably
have an idea.
like,
We interviewed the guy from Health, which I haven't listened back because I'm just afraid to hear my own voice. But like his opinions were just like, wait, what? Like this is not at all what I was getting from your art. Like, oh, okay, but like, yeah, it is one of those kind of fascinating things where when you hear someone in professional in another field or an aspect of a field, and then they give their opinion, and it's like you are not the word isn't out of touch, but I'm going to use that one to say like Jesus Christ, that's not all what I was getting from your work, so to speak. But all this to say is stop pocket watching.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah,
not getting
yeah,
paid to, if the industry isn't following you, stop pocket watching.
yeah. That's
Mhm.
You
like
better be
backseat
Scott
driving.
Mendelson or fucking Matt Bellamy.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. Unless you're those guys, no one cares about what you think about the business. But final thoughts on Lee Cronin's The Mummy, James. I think you're the biggest fan of it here.
Yeah.
I really loved hearing the differing opinions on here, and I don't even disagree with what like you liked about the movie. I think I disagree with in regards to I just like so much less of it. But I mean,
Mhm.
clearly enough of it worked. But do you have any final thoughts on the movie? Would you see another one if Lee Cronin wanted to make Lee Cronin into the Mummy too?
The Cronin's The Mummies.
Yeah, I think my like final kind of takeaway from this movie is that it had a bit more, fun and games than a lot of the other attempts at bringing back the Universal monsters. And I like that spirit, and I hope that the lesson learned here is that not only can horror audiences, take this level of gore and whatnot, and it's better to kind of experiment and try out new things, but also like have some fun with it. These are movies that have existed in the cultural canon for so long because, in a sense, despite their tragedy, like Frankenstein, Dracula, the Mummy, Creature from the Black Lagoon, they're fun characters to play around with. So I think Lee Cronin's The Mummy, it gave us a fun new spin on it. And for that, I'll always be grateful. Now, do I want a sequel? Not really. I just want a different Lee Cronin movie. Just give me another one.
Yeah, hell yeah. Thank you for that. I want to toss it off to Max in a second, but he was talking about some movie called Thaw after Evil Dead Rise came out, and that's like it's totally like gonna be his version of The Thing or something. It like takes place on a ship in a post-apocalyptic like tundra wasteland where humanity is trying to get back on their footing, and then oh no, something's thawed out of the ice, right? And it's like awesome, yeah, cool, sci-fi Lee Cronin. Let's get that one going. That sounds cool, It sounds different.
Yeah.
I want to see him cook in that sort of landscape. But Max, do you have any final thoughts on not Evil Dead?
Yeah, the film I did not like it, but I did not hate it. As James wonderfully pointed out, I'm a bit agnostic on it. I see the potential of what it could have been, but what that is not at all what Lee Cronin and the other creatives wanted, and that's okay. But it's not the fucking worst thing I've ever seen this year, and there's still much good to be. There's still a fair amount of good to be had with it, and I mean, hey, what do our opinions matter? It's gonna probably make like 100 million at the box office worldwide, and that's not nothing. Horror forever not beating the allegations of being made on a shoestring budget and making fucking dreams come true. There's a reason why everyone is now finally recognizing, hey, we should have more horror because you can make it for dirt cheap and you can make back a ton of money.
Hmm. Well said. Gene,
Mhm.
final thoughts.
Yeah, no, I mean I've seen this movie twice now. I went to
Oh,
go
damn.
see it.
Sorry, sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I mean I went to go see it yesterday to catch up because I saw the movie early, seen it at the premiere, which was like a week before. But no, I mean I really enjoy it. I like Lee Cronin as a filmmaker, as a person too, because he was nice. He was talking to everyone there. And yeah, it's just nice to see him go from like because I saw Hole in the Ground. I haven't seen his other shorts, but Hole in the Ground, Evil Dead Rise, and now like The Mummy. I'm just like was really happy with what he crafted for the film. He really knew the language of a lot of like horror films or sort of like themes and everything. So I want to see what he does next. But yeah, no, I enjoyed The Mummy after kind of being lukewarm on the last Blumhouse monster movie. So yeah, I was really enjoying it. So yeah.
Before we
Yeah.
wrap, I have
Hmm.
an interesting bit of Lee Cronin lore that I
Oh
forgot to
yeah,
share.
Oh, please, yes.
you gotta
Damn.
say it.
Yeah, this is the big one. So do y'all remember whenever Lee Cronin said he would give $50 to whoever guessed the Bruce Campbell cameo in Evil Dead
Hmm.
Rise.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I made it to the South by Southwest premiere, front row, guessed the cameo. We were supposed to link up to get that $50. Still haven't had it. So
Oh
technically,
no.
Lee Cronin owes me money.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Oh, I thought you got it.
Not
Yeah.
yet, not yet. But
Okay.
it'll be a fun story one day.
Yeah.
Maybe if we're ever in each other's neck of the woods. I mean, we're oomphs on Twitter, so we'll
Yeah.
Oh,
see.
cool. Yeah.
You
I
can't.
mean, hey,
Yeah.
maybe we might embarrass you and just put this clip out and be like, Lee, buddy,
Yeah,
pay the
you
man.
just
Yeah.
you
Put
Please,
your
yeah,
Venmo account too.
please do. You have my permission.
you made this the easiest edit in the world. I can just go straight to the back half of this and cut it for the short.
Excellent.
And you know what? Usually it's people being like, man, that movie sucked. I want my money back. It's like, no, James loved the movie. You just have to pay
Mhm.
him now also.
Yeah.
$50.
But
So
yeah,
we can
thank you
say that
guys.
I wasn't paid by Lee Cronin to give this movie a positive review.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how you know completely unbiased. If anything, you have reason to dislike the movie because Lee owes you money.
For sure.
Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. I can't believe I that's the first time I'm hearing that. That's incredible. James, you're always welcome on the podcast anytime. Please come on by soon. We'll figure something out. Max,
Of
always a
course.
pleasure, my friend. I'll hit you on the WhatsApp. We're cooking up some fun stuff. Both you guys are busy as fuck. You working. We're gonna put links down to your stuff below. If there's anything specifically you'd like to mention before we let you go, because Gene and I stuff, people listen to us all the time if they're here. Our stuff's down below. We don't need to catch up. They know what we're up to. But you guys, anything specifically you want to plug before we go?
Yeah, I mean, I guess just follow my Twitter at James P. Poole. I post most of my work there. When I'm not guesting on Waffle Press, I either write for Discussing Film or But Why Though. Those are my two primary outlets. So you can find my work there. You'll also see me tweet something controversial about the roles Ryan Gosling is taking or something like that. I'll get in trouble for a few days, rinse and repeat.
Mhm.
But I try to have fun over there.
Yeah,
Listen.
your lawyer told you not to talk about it.
Yes. I did like Project Hail Mary, though, and that
Okay.
is another story. I should have seen that movie before I made the tweet.
Yeah.
Uh, I will say probably. I will say I prayed for you because once I saw the great Van Lathan, who I'm a big fan of, quote tweeted you, I was
Mm,
like, it's over. Like James is
nah,
done. James is gone
nah.
today. They're gonna kill him. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that happened to you, but you're here, you're stronger for it, and we got to talk about the mummy together. Max, any final plugs?
Oh, sorry. It looks like embargoes dropped for Devil Wears Prada 2 and Mortal Kombat 2, so that's all coming out right now.
I mean, we'll say it
But
live. It looks like they're both very well received right
yeah,
now.
the jury's out on MK2, but we'll get
Oh,
there.
okay. The ones I
Um,
saw were positive from
no,
people
no,
I
no, they're
didn't
positive.
expect.
I'm just saying for my own personal interest.
Oh,
Mhm.
I'm
Um,
with you. We'll get back to that.
but yeah, yeah, I'm a producer of a couple podcasts, an editor of the same podcast, sometimes with Waffle Press, but also with Act for Everyone and Scott Mendelson's The Box Office Podcast. I don't appear as much on Scott Mendelson's podcast. I do it when I can, but I usually edit those episodes and then I produce and edit A4E. And in terms of most recent work, as just as recently as last week, I just had a 20th anniversary piece on Christoph Gahn's Silent Hill 2 come out from Fangoria. Quite proud of that. It's a film that warts and all problems that it definitely 100% has, I still think has merit and has thematic depth. And 1,500 words is not enough to write about all the things that I think that actually does right. Um, and some of the more interesting elements of that film. But I managed to do some of it within that words count. So yeah, that's out with Fangoria. And then the last two pieces I had over the course of the last few months were with Neon Splatter. One was a neo-noir grunge mixtape, and then the other one was a little, hey, watch The Headhunter. Um, Again, another film that I had to edit out an entire swath of thematic critical analysis because I definitely think there's a lot more going with that film than what's there. But yeah, that's where you can find some of my most recent written work, and hopefully there will be more to come as the year goes on. I freelance occasionally. It is not a main source of income for me because I don't live in a area where that is conducive, but I enjoy it when I get the opportunity. So.
All right, yeah, links down to all that again below. Thank you, Gene, as always, for being my friend and co-host on this podcast. We love doing it. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. We have been professionally unprofessional.